How's it going? We're going to talk about my gear pack for K-Rock Weenie Roast, which is a day-long festival in Southern California. Usually I do these before I go to the festival, but now I'm doing it after because my gear would change sometimes, or I'd use stuff in a way I didn't think I was going to use it. So now I'll tell you exactly why I use the gear, what I used it for, and I'll show you some examples. We've got some behind-the-scenes video after this, and then I have some editing time-lapse that I think I'm going to put in this. I might not. We'll see. Cool. So here we go. First off, I want to talk about my camera. I'm shooting with a 5D Mark III. I've shot with this for a long time now. Doesn't break. It's reliable. It's quick. It works in low light. What more could you ask for? As long as my gear is working, and I've treated this thing I've treated it really well in a way that I use it for all that it's worth. It's been missing this top piece for about ever, and the back is all banged up, but that means I use my gear. You know, as soon as you're okay with breaking it, that's when you really start using it. I finally found a way to put the GoPro on my camera that I like. Used to put it on top, used to put it on the lens, used to put it over here, which I like the most, but that piece broke, so we're doing this for now. I actually like this. It's out of the way, it's on the side, it's on the other side of the camera, so it might be a little bit disorienting at first, but I think it's good. And yeah, the goal is just get behind the scenes with this. So that's my camera setup. I also have this spider strap I've talked about before, spider holster hand strap. Can't really drop the camera with that on there. Reduces the weight, beautiful. This is my camera setup for festivals. So yeah, that's the camera I shoot with, and now I'm going to show you all the lenses that go on it and tell you their purpose. Cool? Alright, here we go. Oh, before we get to the lenses, I just wanted to show you, this is the eyepiece that I use. It goes in the back of the camera. It's not on there right now. I take it off sometimes depending on if it's getting my way or not, and it was that day, but basically just slides on there in place of your stock eyepiece, and then it goes on your eye. You shoot with it, and you can spin it like that, depending on which eye you shoot with. And I switch eyes a lot while I'm shooting, so I have to spin it a lot, but sometimes I'll just leave it like this. This locks out all outside light and kind of gives you a little bit of distance between your camera and your face, which is important for me because I have a massive nose. So this helps me a lot for that. So a lot of people are asking what company this is from. It's from a company called Hoodman, and I like it. They have a lot of different options, so check them out. Hoodman. I think it's Hoodman USA. I'll put the links in the caption, so you'll see. Cool. All right, lenses. First up, we have the 85-1.4 Sigma Art lens. This is my newest lens, and you'll see, like, kind of gradually over the past 2 years, I've switched over to mainly prime lenses when possible. So I'll use zoom lenses when time is an issue, and I just have to get the shots, get my job done, and get out of there. Probably won't get anything from my portfolio, but they get the job done, and sometimes that is a priority. But when I'm shooting something like Weenie Roast for K-Rock, where they kind of let me have free reign and let me do my own thing, prime lenses are what I'm going to use, because I love them. So this lens is one of my favorite because it's one of the best at separating your subject from their surroundings, and when you're shooting a concert, there's a lot of distracting things going on stage. So I tend to use this lens mostly when I'm on stage shooting out at the audience with the artist between us, and what it does is it gives me a nice shot of the artist, and then the people will be nicely blurred out with the depth of field in the background, and it looks beautiful. And that's what that is for. If I'm shooting from the pit, same effect, separates them from the background of the stage, but it's hard to get full body because it's so zoomed in. You know, 85mm is quite zoomed in, so unless you back up really far, you're only going to get top part of their body, something like that, with the desired effect. But love this lens, also good portrait lens. Took me a little while to get the hang of the 85, but I like it. So next we have the 50-1.4, and the advantage of these prime lenses is they all open up pretty wide. They all go to 1.4, 1.2, 1.8, something like that, and that really allows us to get that beautiful depth of field. That's what I'm going for. So I use this in the same way that I use the 85, meaning separate the subject from the background. That's kind of a style I like to shoot. If you don't like that, don't use prime lenses, or shoot with an aperture like 5.0 or something like that. But I like it, so I shoot wide open, usually 2.0, 2.8. So like I was saying, same way as you use the 85, the only difference is this one is better for full body shots. So you can get, you know, the whole artist in the image. If you're shooting from the photo pit at a concert, this will allow you to get head to toe if you're shooting vertical and you're not super close, and it will still look nice. And then if you're shooting from stage, it's a little bit wider, actually a lot wider than the 85, so you can get the artist, and then you can really see their surroundings. The surroundings will be a little bit out of focus, but not as much as with the 85. So it's better if you want to show the environment, show the artist, and show the crowd. So this one kind of reminds me of any historical images you've seen of an artist on stage at a concert, usually shot with something like a 50mm or a 35, where you can see the artist and you can see the surroundings, and everything is in focus enough so you can see what's going on. They're not separated a lot. So this is classic, 50mm classic, and a 50mm shoots the same way your eyes see. So it's going to look very normal, very nice, clean images. And again, another one from the Sigma Art series. Kind of a Sigma fanboy, I apologize, but they're good lenses, and they're cheaper than Canon. Sick. Alright, so this is another prime. It's the Sigma 20mm f1.4, and I like this lens, but it has a little bit of a challenge to it. It is not great at focusing in situations where they're heavily backlit. That happens quite often at a concert, whether it be the sun in the daytime, the lights at night. It's really hard to shoot with. So sometimes I'll find myself focusing manually and zooming in to 10% in live view mode to help make sure I'm in focus, and then shooting. So it's hard to get the shot, but when you get it, it's very rewarding. So I won't use this if it's a shot that I need 100% to turn into my client, because sometimes it can be unreliable. But if I'm going for a look, I'm shooting for myself, you can bet I'll be using this lens. It's wide enough that it makes your images pop and a little bit larger than life looking, kind of like a fisheye. But unlike a fisheye, it doesn't distort the image as much and make it apparent that this is why it looks that way. It's a little more undercover. So because of that, people look at the image and they go, wow, this looks cool. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it looks cool. And that's because a 20mm it's just a good level of distortion, and it adds a little something extra to those wide shots that might otherwise be a little bit boring. Cool? Alright. Lastly, we have my only zoom lens. So this is a 120-300. Can you see it? Can you see it? I hope you can see it. A 120-300, massive lens, really hard to hold. It's very heavy, difficult to shoot with because of that. So if you can't hold it, you get a monopod on the bottom, but I've worked my way up to being able to shoot with this for about 5 minutes. So after that, I gotta sit down, take a break. The reason I like this lens is it's just beautiful. So it has a couple of great uses. I can either stand behind all the other photographers in the photo pit and zoom in and get perfectly acceptable images without trying to fight for a spot in the middle or something like that, which is what I usually do, because if you're standing with every other photographer, you're going to get the same shot they're getting. So I try to shoot in different areas at this concert, and this allows me to have that reach. In addition to that, if you're on stage and shooting with this, you might as well be in a studio, because when you have a background that is so far away from your subject and you're zoomed into them at 300mm, it's going to blur it so much you'll have no idea where they are. It really separates that subject, and that's one of my favorite things. So I'll show you some of the shots here. I think I've been showing them already. Obviously going to be in post because I'm not holding up prints. Some of my favorite shots. Great lens. It's part of their sports series, so it's not art series. It's a S, sports, because this is what people would shoot sports with, but I like to use it for concerts. And if you're feeling extra crazy, you can throw the Canon 2x teleconverter on there and have a 240 to 600 5.6, but that's a little bit of overkill. Maybe in the future. I tried it a few times, but it's just a little ridiculous. So for this festival, I used a retrospective 10 to hold my gear. Basically, I would hold it like this, put 1, 2, 3 lenses in here, camera in hand, and then for my 120-300, I have its own case to carry it on. And when I get to where I'm shooting, I set them down and I shoot the festival. Can't do this at every festival. Some are rainy, some are a little more hectic, especially ones in other countries, they're just like crazy. But in the US, a radio festival, pretty simple, pretty chill, not a lot going on, easy to keep an eye on my gear. So yeah, bring it like this, and I don't carry my bag around with me while I'm shooting because I feel it's a little bit disabling. You know, I want to have free reign. I want to be able to move around. I want to be able to jump. I want to be able to get wherever I need to get without bumping other people that are working and get my shot. So yeah, that's my gear for this festival. Check out this behind the scenes of me shooting the fest, and yeah, I hope I helped you a little bit here. So peace. All right, guys, have a good one. Take care. Bye. Hey, we're at K-Rock Weenie Roast Festival, and it's in this big ass thing. And basically my job today is, I don't have a job. I kind of just get to shoot what I want. I'm really looking forward to it. I love working for K-Rock. They treat me really well. They have a great team. It's gonna be a good time today. There's a lot of artists playing. We got Paramore, Lana Del Rey, Imagine Dragons, Lord, 311, Incubus, and then some other bands. And it's a lot of bands I have not shot before. So you're gonna ride with me on my camera as usual and see what it's like to take photos at a music festival. Here it goes. So when I have time at a festival like this, I kind of go around and test out my angles. So I just did